Have you ever considered how a single moment can fulfill a prophecy centuries old, setting in motion events that would change the world forever? The triumphal entry of Jesus into Jerusalem is one such moment, a pivotal scene in a story of faith, fulfillment, and ultimate sacrifice. It's a story not just about a king, but about a different kind of kingdom, one not defined by earthly power, but by divine love. This event, celebrated as Palm Sunday, marks the beginning of Holy Week, the final and most significant chapter of Jesus' earthly ministry. It reveals the heart of a Savior who comes not in conquest but in peace, welcomed by the hopeful cries of his people. Centuries before the birth of Jesus, the prophet Zechariah had inscribed a divine promise onto a sacred scroll. It spoke of a future king, one who would not arrive with the pomp of a conqueror, astride a fearsome war horse. Instead, the prophecy foretold his coming in humility. See, your king comes to you, righteous and victorious, lowly and riding on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey. This ancient text was a beacon of hope for Israel, a promise that God's chosen one would arrive not with a sword, but with a message of peace and salvation. The stage was set, the words were written, and all of history awaited the moment of their fulfillment. The prophecy painted a picture of a gentle and accessible ruler, one who would connect with the common people and usher in a kingdom of righteousness. As the Passover festival approached, drawing crowds from all over to Jerusalem, Jesus knew the time had come. He stopped near the Mount of Olives and gave two of his disciples a specific and unusual command. He told them to go ahead into the nearby village, where they would immediately find a donkey tied up, with her colt beside her. "Untie them and bring them to me," he instructed, anticipating their questions by adding, "If anyone says anything to you, say that the Lord needs them, and he will send them right away." The disciples, trusting their master, set off without hesitation. Their obedience was a crucial step, an act of faith that would unlock the very prophecy they had studied, turning ancient words into living history. With the donkey and colt secured, the disciples laid their cloaks over the young animal's back, creating a makeshift saddle for their Lord. As Jesus began his ride towards the great city of Jerusalem, a sense of electric anticipation filled the air. What began as a small procession quickly swelled into a massive, jubilant crowd. People, recognizing the significance of the moment, streamed out from the city to meet him. In a spontaneous outpouring of reverence and joy, they began to lay their own cloaks upon the dusty road, creating a carpet of honor fit for a king. Others cut branches from the palm trees that lined the path, waving them and spreading them before Jesus in a traditional gesture of victory and celebration. The air erupted with a chorus of praise that echoed through the Judean hills. Inspired by the Psalms and filled with messianic hope, the crowd waved their palm branches and shouted with unbridled joy. "Hosanna to the Son of David," they cried, a declaration of his royal lineage. "Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." Their voices rang out, acknowledging him as God's chosen emissary. The chant of Hosanna in the highest heaven filled the sky, a plea for salvation and a celebration of the divine glory they were witnessing. It was a powerful, heartfelt welcome for the king they had long awaited, a moment of pure collective adoration. As Jesus passed through the ancient city gates of Jerusalem, the procession reached its crescendo. The entire city was thrown into a state of commotion and wonder. "Who is this?" people in the streets asked, witnessing the unprecedented scene of a humble teacher being hailed as a king. The crowd that followed him in answered with conviction, "This is Jesus, the prophet from Nazareth in Galilee." The triumphal entry was complete. A king had entered his city, not with an army, but with a following of faithful people. This public declaration of his identity set the stage for the dramatic and world-altering events that would unfold in the week to come. A week that would lead to the cross and, ultimately, to an empty tomb. The triumphal entry is more than just a historical account. It is a profound illustration of the nature of Christ's kingdom and the choice presented to humanity. It demonstrates that true royalty is found in humility and true power is expressed through peace. Jesus' arrival on a donkey, welcomed by the praises of ordinary people, challenges our perceptions of greatness and leadership. This story continues to resonate, reminding us to welcome Christ into our own hearts with the same shouts of Hosanna. recognizing him not just as a prophet from Galilee, but as the Lord and Savior who comes in the name of the Lord. It calls us to lay down our own cloaks of pride and wave our palms of praise in surrender to his gentle and loving rule.